Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, for this particular video, I want to talk about Joe Biden and his unconditional support for Israel. I want to talk about the political dilemma that African American voters face during these election cycles, especially during the presidential election cycle. I just want to talk about, some thoughts that have been weighing heavily on my mind. First of all, we see the genocide that's unfolding in Gaza. We see the innocent children killed. Thousands of innocent children have been killed in this conflict. And for all intents and purposes, this is not a war. It is a massacre. That's what Israel is doing. They are killing innocent children. They are killing innocent women and men. They are bombing refugee sites. They are bombing hospitals. They're bombing homes, schools. Nothing is off limits for the state of Israel. They are committing the very terrorism that they claim to condemn. And the United States is sponsoring that terrorism. The last time I checked, like 11,000 Palestinians died. And that's according to the records that I had checked a while ago or heard a while ago. And like 4,000 of those deaths are children. And while this carnage is taking place, you have Joe Biden offering unconditional support to the state of Israel. Unconditional support to a state that's violating all kinds of international laws. In fact, Benjamin Netanyahu needs to be brought before the criminal international court. That's what needs to happen. The United States needs to defund Israel. We should not be paying money to support a massacre. We should not be financing genocide. We should not be financing colonialism. And despite all these atrocities that are going on over there in Gaza, Biden is standing fully behind Israel. Despite all these babies dying, despite all these women dying, despite all these innocent men dying, Joe Biden stands behind Israel. He supports Israel fully. And this is absolutely outrageous. It has gotten so bad that even his appointees had to write a letter urging him to call for a ceasefire. The United States has the power to call for a ceasefire. The United States funds Israel. We should be able to have some kind of say in what the Israelis are doing over there. But Joe Biden has stood by while this carnage continues. In fact, he has cheered it on. He has downplayed the deaths of Palestinian people. Palestinian lives just matter just as much as any other human life matters. And because of this, because of his blatant support for racism in Gaza, against the Palestinian people, because of his blatant support for genocide against the Palestinian people, I cannot support Joe Biden for president. I'm not voting for him. Too much blood is on his hands. And I know people try to use these scare tactics about Donald Trump, and we certainly know how horrible a candidate Donald Trump is. We know how horrible his presidency is. And I understand these arguments about how, Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils. But at some point, we have to take a stand on principle. At some point, we have to stand on decency. At some point, we have to stand up for our fellow human beings. What's going on there is outrageous. This genocide that's happening over there. And I'll be damned if I cast my vote for a man who is allowing and enabling genocide to take place. I can't do that in good conscience. I'm not voting for him. I am going to vote third party, and I don't know if Cornel West will actually be on the ballot or not, but at this point, he has my vote. And if I can't vote for him, I'm voting for Jill Stein or somebody else. We have to free ourselves from this situation where we feel that we are hostages to this Democratic Party. Now, I know that, the Democrats, by and large, their policies on a lot of issues are more beneficial to African Americans than, the Republicans, obviously. And I've done countless videos about that. And I will be supporting other Democratic candidates that have taken a stand on this particular issue. I'm not supporting a candidate, for instance, that co-signed on the censoring of Rashida Tlaib. I'm not going to vote for any of those people. Fortunately, I don't think any of our representatives here in Maryland supported that censor of Representative Tlaib. But yeah, so I'm not supporting Joe Biden. That doesn't mean I'm not going to support other Democratic candidates that are running for lower offices, whether it's representative or senator or whatever. I just cannot in good conscience support Joe Biden, and I will not be intimidated or, have my arm twisted, based on these arguments of the lesser of two evils. At some point, we have to hold these politicians accountable. And if genocide is not worthy of holding somebody accountable, I don't know what the hell is. So I will not be voting for Joe Biden. I can't sit by and co-sign what he has done when it comes to Middle Eastern policy. And that's in fact what you will be doing when you vote for Joe Biden. Now, a lot of times people are caught up into this issue of whether or not somebody is electable and all that kind of stuff. And I understand, like in pragmatic terms, how that is significant. But at some point, we have to move beyond just pragmatism and stand on principle. And that's what I'm doing. Unless there is a fundamental, radical shift in U.S. foreign policy when it comes to Israel, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. And I don't encourage you to vote for him either.